Okay.
We're back again with Mother Rytasha. What we've done is we decided that since she's not here in South Florida that often, that we thought we would grab her and just have her give us tidbits and little bits of her wisdom and her experiences from all over the world where she affects so many people. And so we've been talking about her children's books and talking about the other kind of books like Soul Food, Nourishing a Holy Life, and also Rebel or Rebel, either one you can say it. The Path Made Straight, we'll talk about that, and then Answers. But let's go back to something you were telling me that children see you. First, if you don't know what Mother Rytasha looks like, she's extremely beautiful, long black hair and a beautiful face, but she wears a white a white sari, and she does look like something coming out of the sky, the clouds. So I can understand the little story that you're telling me.
We went to do a program at this church, and I was waiting outside the door to go in and give a talk. And there were 3 little girls in a circle, and they kept sort of whispering among themselves, and they'd look over at me, and then they'd come back, huddled together and whisper. And finally, one little girl was sort of pushed out of the group, and she came over to me, and she very shyly said, Did you fly here? And because, of course, I had just gotten off a plane, I said yes. And she said, oh, my God. She ran back. She is an angel. She is an angel.
Now, that's funny. And how old were they?
They were tiny, tiny little kids.
But I can see where that happens, where then people don't really understand, how you just got there, because you're living in the civilized world, but at the same time you're living in an ethereal world and a spiritual world. Is it difficult to put the two together? I mean, with your getting up at 4 a.m. and yet living a life where people want you to speak to them, and I mean, how do you manage this? How do you get the two together?
Well, I think I'm very fortunate because I seem to meet the most wonderful people. I think God arranges all meetings. I don't believe in any accidental meetings. So it's not difficult. Getting up 4 o'clock in the morning, yes, that has its moments. That is difficult. The body doesn't always appreciate that. But it's a discipline, and it's a very good one.
But then you're also entertaining people, or you're speaking. And
constantly. There's always people coming to hear and to ask. Everything I do is about questions and answers. And I love it. I love people coming. And I'm also have a lot of time on my own because I have to work on the books or work on work. And I have wonderful people around me, such as Raja Khan, a group of disciples who are wonderful, who carry the real burden, and people like yourself, dear friends.
Oh, thank you. It's so nice to be included in your life, in your world. When you were talking, though, about people ask you questions, are there ever any questions you don't have answers to?
I don't answer personal questions about myself because it's not about me.
Right. What about other questions that they ask? I mean, philosophically and all.
No, we were in Russia, and we had these wonderful young men from the university, and they were translating because, of course, I don't speak Russian. Russia was an extraordinary experience, and I'll tell you about that for extraordinary experiences. But then I remember one of the boys said to me, he said, tonight would be the hard questions. And it was interesting because they were the same questions. Most people, we all have pretty much the same questions all over the world. People are not that different. So, no, so far so good, because actually when I speak, God speaks through me. It's not that I'm so knowledgeable about all the scriptures. We had a group of different gurus all come to question me once, and they wanted to entrap me a little bit, which was great fun. And they were asking all kinds of esoteric questions from this scripture and that scripture, and somehow I had the answer, not because I knew it, because I think God was just very merciful that day. Somehow we managed.
That's a wonderful story. I would think that, yes, people would be there not nice people, but people who are either jealous or maybe really curious, and
well, you should be
they want to trick you.
There should be tests, you know. So that was fine. I like that. And skepticism is a sign of intelligence. People should be a little skeptical. There's a lot of phonies. There's a lot of people making business out of this. A lot of people exploiting other people. So you should come with a little skepticism with hard questions. And you should be satisfied mentally.
So that it doesn't frighten you in any way when you...
I enjoy it.
You enjoy that.
Sometimes people have come when we've done programs really to agitate and to make trouble and to kill us, actually. And
why don't you expand on that? Why do they want to kill you?
Because basically they don't like the idea that I say there's one God and He's the God of all of us. And that not only do we say it, but we live it. The disciples come from all different backgrounds, and men, women equally. God is an equal opportunity employer.
You really... I said to Mother Rytasha she should be a stand-up comic. She said,
but I don't have a chair even now. She took my chair away.
Right, took her chair, so she's going to have to be a sit-down comic. But you also have had, health problems, and you somehow get by that too, because you just don't see that as stopping you. You're like a locomotive just going down the track, and look out, everyone.
It's really called stubborn.
No, it's more than that.
Yeah, because we
passion.
work in very difficult conditions very often, and so I've had a lot of diseases, tuberculosis, hepatitis, just about everything you can catch, I somehow have caught. But by the grace of God, I'm still going.
Yes, you are. You're just going, like what's that thing that's going? It's forget what that was. It's I was thinking about the little
road runner.
Yeah, right. The little road runner. You're running the roads. All right, let's go into your little children. As you can see, I'm totally fascinated by your children's books. So if you want any of these books, if you want to see them, you have to go to the website, which is thereligionoflove.net. And you can even look up Mother Rytasha, and it pops up too.
Yes.
You have a newsletter. The website, you'll be able to see Mother Rytasha. You'll be able to see the YouTube. You'll be able to see her disciples. You'll be able to actually see Rajak Khan, who is absolutely an amazing young man too. And I keep calling him a young man. He doesn't seem to age, but I'm seeing a picture of him with black hair, and now I know he has some gray in his hair. So I guess we all kind of age in a different way, but he still has that fascinating look in his face, so we don't think about him like that. But I'd like to go into, there's another one now. I'm just fascinated by your children's books. The Rabbit and the Raccoon. So what happened in that one?
Oh, Rabbit and Raccoon. So Rabbit is like the spiritual master, and Raccoon, it starts off, Raccoon stubs his foot on a rock, and he starts screaming and shouting at the rock, and he gets so angry at the rock, he kicks the rock, and of course then he hurts himself. And the rabbit teaches him, and he sings a song, and the children learn the song. It's all interactive. The children sing and dance and have cookies and hug the animals. And
what is the point? That when you get mad, you just, if you don't,
it's like
control your temper, it'll be worse.
They teach them to. What you do is, I am rubber, you are glue. What I do comes out to me, sticks to you, or sticks to me. I get it mixed up. It's a very cute song.
And they learn.
You are rubber, I'm glue. Whatever I do to you, bounces off you and sticks
to you.
Right.
Well, so the question though is, now you're teaching this in English, or you're teaching this in their language?
Their language.
So that's why the disciples who are there speak their language.
How we do it is, the person will read the book in the language of the children, and the disciples mime it, act it out.
Oh, and mime it, yeah.
And that way they travel all over the world doing the plays in that way.
I saw an opera yesterday, which was it was a fun opera, and it was The Magic Flute. And, of course, they were acting out this whole thing, and it was fantastic.
Right. So the children hearing the story, and then they see the monkey doing or the raccoon doing. So basically the raccoon learns, it's very basic. As Jesus said, what you sow, so shall you reap, or what they say in the East, karma, that whatever you give out, will come back to you in equal measure. And the raccoon learns that.
Have you had the pleasure of meeting the Dalai Lama?
No. We actually went to Dharamshala to meet him, and he was leaving the same day, and they said if you go to the south, he would like to meet you. But we were too busy to go all the way to the south of India to meet him. But we had a lovely time.
I've seen him on television. He seems to be an extraordinary man, very kind, very smart.
Oh, yes. Very humble.
Yes.
With a wonderful sense of humor.
Yes. Yes, I've seen that. And so that's... And I guess I saw the story of a young child who they choose to become the Dalai Lama.
Yes.
And
it is the same. That's one of the ways we know about reincarnation. That it is the same soul or same person coming again. And they know him because they don't choose him. They will take some of the objects that the Dalai Lama who has died owned, and they show to the child with other objects, and he'll say, that's mine, or that's mine. And he knows. He says, you were my students to the old man.
I did not know that.
That's how they choose the Dalai Lama.
Someday you will go to see him. He will see you.
Well, that would be lovely.
That would be very lovely for you too, wouldn't it?
I would love to see him. I think he's
we need a
lovely.
picture of that. That definitely we need a picture of. So, Rajak, we have to get you to arrange that. I think that's a perfect thing. Let's go back into some of the other books that you have here, because I want to make sure I can get some of these covered. There's something that we all want answers. What is your book? Answer things. What is it all about? Answers.
Answers is.
We all look for answers, and so
spiritual life is beyond the mind. When they talk about the peace that passes all understanding, that's what we want. We want peace and bliss and happiness that isn't based on something we get or we have, which is transitory. We want to go beyond that. And
so the answers.
So book, they ask. It's a group of people come together of scholars and holy men. They come together and they ask her to come. They say, the religion of love is now being talked about in every town and village, and we'd like to know more about it. And they call her before them to answer questions. And one of the questions is they ask, what is the one true name of God? So, because people will fight over that.
Sure. I mean, we see this here in this country with all the religions, and they forget what the whole point of it is, right?
Right. We say those who fight over the messengers of God have not understood the message of God.
No, well said. Well said. And everything that you're doing, really, see, it's not just prophesying.
The religion of love is meant to break down these false barriers that men have created. There is only one religion, and that is love. And what is different is the custom, cultures, language, things like that. And differences should not be divisions.
Right. We were talking at that lunch we had the other day about people who are gay and how it just, if you're really a religion of love, that person's love. I mean, there's no way for you to start to find fault, and yet we have big groups of people here in the United States who are against this, against that. We have no right to do that.
Well, people are people, and people do all kinds of things, and I don't think it's, that we have the right to be so judgmental. The religion of, as we said in the beginning, God is for everyone. Spiritual life is for everyone.
Okay, well, we're going to stop this, and we're going to wait to go on to the next one. Mother Rytasha is my guest. We all feel privileged to have her here in South Florida and
we can find
sharing
out what
her
is the one true name of God.
Okay, we'll be back to do that.